Have you ever waited for a reply that never came, stared at your phone, refreshed the screen again and again, and slowly felt your heart becoming heavy? In that small glowing screen, many people lose something very precious, their self-respect. Today, let us talk about a silent pain that millions carry, but few express, chasing people who have already chosen to walk away. Have you ever found yourself waiting for a message that never arrives, checking your phone again and again, convincing your heart to stay hopeful while your dignity quietly sits in a corner, feeling ignored? In that small habit, something precious slowly slips away, not time, not energy, but self-respect. We rarely notice it at first because the heart is generous. It gives excuses where reality gives silence. We tell ourselves stories to survive the disappointment. They must be busy. Maybe they didn't see my message. Tomorrow they will reply. But deep inside, the soul already understands what the mind refuses to accept. Attention is never accidental. When someone truly values you, you don't need to remind them that you exist. Care does not require follow-ups. Love does not need repeated announcements. Many people believe that holding on makes them loyal and strong. In truth, sometimes holding on only makes us smaller. We begin to measure our worth by response times. We begin to feel important only when noticed. Slowly, the heart forgets its own value and starts living on borrowed validation. There is a quiet difference between patience and self-disrespect. Patience has dignity. Self-disrespect has fear. One waits with peace, the other waits with anxiety. One trusts life, the other begs people. Think of it like standing outside a closed door. You knock once, no answer. You knock again, still silence. After some time, wisdom whispers, "This door is not locked, it is simply not meant for you." Walking away is not weakness. Walking away is clarity. Not everyone who leaves your life is a loss. Some are lessons. Some are protection disguised as pain. Some are simply proof that your heart deserves a safer home. You were not born to compete for attention. You were born to be respected without negotiation. You were not designed to chase replies. You were designed to walk confidently, attracting those who recognize your presence without explanation. Real connections do not confuse you. They do not exhaust you. They do not make you feel invisible in a room full of people. They bring calm, not constant overthinking. They bring stability, not emotional hunger. Letting go does not empty your life. It cleans it. When you stop chasing people who ignore you, you return to yourself. You sleep better. You think clearly. You breathe freely. Your smile becomes lighter because it is no longer dependent on someone else's behavior. The sun does not chase anyone to be admired. It simply rises, and those who value light naturally look toward it. So if someone chooses distance, accept it with grace. If someone offers silence, receive it as an answer. And if someone walks away, let them go without bitterness. Not every departure is meant to be understood. Some are only meant to be respected. Protect your heart, not by building walls, but by choosing where it belongs. Protect your energy, not by becoming cold, but by becoming selective. And remember this gently. When you stop running after those who cannot see your worth, life makes room for those who will never make you question it. Sometimes the most powerful step forward is the step you take away. There is a quiet pain that does not make noise, yet it echoes loudly inside the heart. The pain of trying to matter to someone who has already decided not to notice you. You smile in front of others, you function normally, but somewhere inside, a small part of you keeps waiting. Waiting for a message, waiting for warmth, waiting for proof that you are not invisible. At first you call it care, then you call it patience. Slowly, without realizing, it becomes a habit of self-forgetting. The heart is innocent. It keeps giving explanations to protect itself from disappointment. They must be busy. They will understand later. I should try once more. But the soul knows something the mind delays. Accepting effort is a language. Silence is also a language. And when someone consistently chooses silence, they are speaking very clearly. You do not need to be loud to be valued. You do not need to be available all the time to be important. You do not need to reduce yourself to fit into someone else's convenience. Your worth was complete long before anyone decided to recognize it. Many people confuse attachment with love. Attachment says, "I cannot live without you." Love says, I am complete even without you. One is fear dressed as affection. The other is peace wearing kindness. There is dignity in caring, but there is also dignity in stopping. Imagine holding a glass too tightly. At first, nothing happens, but slowly the pressure hurts your hand more than the glass. In the same way, holding on to people who no longer hold you only injures the heart that refuses to loosen its grip. Walking away does not mean your feelings were false. It means your self-respect became stronger than your fear of loneliness. Some relationships are not meant to grow with you. They are meant to teach you how to choose yourself. Some people enter your life only to show you what you should never beg for. You were not created to perform for affection. You were created to be accepted without rehearsal. Peace is the real sign of connection. If being close to someone constantly makes you restless, anxious, unsure, then closeness has become a burden, not a blessing. When you stop chasing those who ignore you, something beautiful happens inside. Your mind becomes quieter. Your heart becomes lighter. Your time becomes your own again. You begin to hear your own thoughts instead of constantly wondering about theirs. You realize that your value does not rise when someone stays, and it does not fall when someone leaves. The sky does not lose its depth when a bird flies away. The ocean does not become small when a wave returns to shore. So let people choose their paths. Let them walk where they feel comfortable. Do not follow them into spaces where you must shrink to be tolerated. Choose the company that chooses you back. Choose conversations that do not exhaust your soul. Choose relationships where silence is peaceful, not painful. And if today you feel unseen by someone you care about, remind yourself gently. Being ignored by the wrong person is often the first step toward being deeply valued by the right ones. Sometimes life is not asking you to hold on longer. Sometimes life is teaching you how to let go with grace. Sometimes the hardest lesson in life is not learning how to love, but learning when to stop offering your heart where it is no longer welcomed. There is a special kind of tiredness that comes from waiting to be chosen by someone who has already chosen distance. Your days continue, your responsibilities remain. Your smile appears on your face, but inside a quiet question repeats itself, why am I not enough? The heart does not like unanswered questions. So it creates stories. It gives excuses. It protects itself with hope. They are busy. They are confused. They will understand one day. But the truth is gentle and sharp at the same time. Those who value you do not leave you guessing. Care does not hide. It shows up. We often believe that love means enduring everything. But love without respect becomes slow self-erasure. You begin to adjust your tone, your timing, your expectations. You celebrate small replies as big blessings. You lower your standards not because you want to, but because you are afraid to be alone. But loneliness outside is lighter than disrespect inside. There is a difference between humility and self-neglect. Humility bows the ego. Self-neglect breaks the soul. One makes you peaceful. The other makes you smaller each day. Picture a river that keeps flowing toward a land that has dried up. No matter how much water it offers, the ground cannot absorb it. Eventually, the river does not become weak by turning away. It becomes wise. Not everyone who walks away is rejecting you. Some are redirecting you. Some are removing themselves so you do not have to keep shrinking to stay connected. You were not created to audition for affection. You were created to be valued without explanation. Relationships should not feel like exams where you are always afraid of failing. They should feel like homes where you can rest without pretending. When you stop chasing people who ignore you, you are not becoming cold. You are becoming clear. You are not closing your heart. You are choosing where it belongs. Your energy is sacred. Your time is sacred. Your emotions are sacred. Giving them to someone who treats them casually is not kindness. It is forgetting your own worth. There is a quiet strength in walking away without anger. No arguments, no long explanations. Just a calm decision to protect your peace. The flower does not argue with the bee that does not come. It continues to bloom. And in time, the right visitors arrive. In the same way, when you stop begging to be seen, you start becoming visible to those who truly matter. You do not lose people by choosing yourself. You lose illusions, you lose confusion, you lose unnecessary pain. And in that empty space, something better grows: clarity, confidence, and calm. So if today someone does not answer your call, does not return your effort, does not recognize your presence, let it be a message, not a wound. Because sometimes life is not removing people to hurt you. It is removing them to heal you. And the moment you stop chasing what ignores you is the moment you start walking toward what truly values you. There comes a moment in life when the heart grows tired, not from loving too much, but from loving in places where love is no longer received. It is a silent exhaustion. No one sees it on your face, but you feel it in your thoughts, in the way your enthusiasm slowly fades, in the way hope becomes heavier than happiness. At first, you do not call it chasing. You call it caring. You call it loyalty. You call it understanding. You tell yourself that relationships require effort, that people are complicated, that patience solves everything. But patience should water the soul, not drain it. The heart is generous, sometimes too generous. It keeps knocking even when the door has not opened for a long time. It keeps waiting even when the chair has become uncomfortable. It keeps giving even when the hands on the other side are empty. And slowly, without realizing, you begin to accept less than you deserve. You start celebrating basic courtesy as deep affection. A short reply feels like a blessing. A small gesture feels like a miracle. Not because it is special, but because your expectations have been trained to survive on crumbs. But you were not created to live on leftovers of attention. There is a gentle truth we often avoid: interest cannot be forced, care cannot be negotiated, and presence cannot be begged for. When someone truly wants to be in your life, you will not have to decode their behavior like a puzzle. You will feel their sincerity in the simplicity of how they treat you. Some people come into your life not to stay forever, but to teach you where your boundaries should be. Not everyone who touches your heart deserves to hold it. Walking away is not always a dramatic goodbye. Sometimes it is a quiet decision to stop explaining yourself, to stop sending the first message, to stop waiting by the door of someone else's convenience. It is choosing peace over permission. You are not weak for caring deeply. You are only human. But strength begins when you realize that your heart also needs protection. Think of a lamp. If it keeps giving light to places that refuse to value it, the oil will finish, and darkness will remain everywhere, including within. When you stop chasing people who ignore you, you begin to return to your own life. You notice your breath again. You hear your own laughter again. You start investing energy in dreams instead of disappointments. You understand that your worth is not measured by how desperately someone holds on to you, but by how peacefully you can let go. Real connections do not demand that you disappear to make room for them. They expand you. They allow you to be whole. So if today your effort is unanswered, your kindness unnoticed, your presence uncelebrated, do not turn that pain inward. Do not reduce yourself to become acceptable. Step back gently, not with bitterness, not with pride, but with respect for the heart that has already given enough. Because sometimes the bravest thing you can do is stop knocking on a door that refuses to open and start building a home within yourself. And from that place of quiet strength, the right people will not need to be chased. They will simply walk in. There is a subtle sorrow that many carry quietly, the kind that does not announce itself in loud words or visible gestures, but lives quietly in the spaces between texts left unread, calls unanswered, and hearts that turn away. It is the exhaustion of giving, hoping, and waiting for people who have already chosen to remain distant. At first you call it patience. You tell yourself that understanding others' timing is a virtue. But patience should lift your spirit, not weigh it down. We often think that love means relentless effort, that relationships are measured by how much we sacrifice, how long we wait, and how deeply we adjust. Slowly, without noticing, we start redefining our worth based on someone else's attention. We begin to celebrate the smallest gestures as if they were treasures because the heart, innocent and loyal, refuses to see the truth. The truth is that effort is meaningful only when it is reciprocated, and love cannot be demanded, it is always chosen. There is a difference between humility and self-neglect. Humility bows to life, knowing that not everything can be controlled. Self-neglect abandons your own value to chase what is absent. One brings peace, the other brings quiet erosion of the soul. Many people mistake waiting for loyalty and adjustment for strength, not realizing that repeated invisibility can slowly teach the heart to shrink. Imagine pouring water into a cup with a hole. No matter how much you give, the cup never fills. Over time, your energy diminishes, your joy leaks, and the act that once brought life now drains it. Walking away does not mean the heart was wrong or the effort wasted. It means the heart is learning its own measure, reclaiming the dignity that has been overlooked, and opening space for what truly belongs. Not everyone who walks away diminishes you. Some departures are life's quiet interventions teaching clarity. Some absences are protection in disguise, shielding your soul from prolonged neglect. You were not created to perform for love, to prove your worth, or to beg for attention. You were created to be respected, cherished, and welcomed with sincerity. When people fail to see that, it is their choice and no reflection on your value. Real connections do not make you anxious. They do not leave you guessing. They are calm, nurturing, and consistent. When you stop chasing those who ignore you, you return to yourself. You breathe freely. You reclaim your time. You hear your thoughts clearly again, instead of being entangled in someone else's silence. Letting go does not mean closing the heart. It means honoring it. It does not mean bitterness, it means clarity. And as you stop knocking on doors that remain closed, you create space for those who will walk in without hesitation. The sun does not beg to be seen, it rises, and those who are ready naturally turn toward it. Sometimes the bravest step you take is not toward someone else, but toward yourself. Stop chasing those who ignore you, protect your energy, and trust that life has a way of bringing the right people to you effortlessly. In the calm of this choice, your heart will rediscover its peace, its joy, and its worth.